Hey everybody, and welcome to the third and final part in my series that that I made like couple of weeks ago with potential teams that could succeed in Russia. Now, part one was who could win the World Cup based on current form, and part two was like outside challenges, like non-powerhouses. Um, and if you don't remember those videos I made, I can just link them in the description below for you. But essentially, it was like who can succeed in Russia, mainstream teams, powerhouses, and then who could succeed, non-powerhouses. And in this video, part three, this is the last one for this series. I'm looking at some potential big teams that could disappoint, that could flop. Now, when we say big teams, we're talking teams like Brazil, France, Spain, Germany, probably Argentina, most of the South American teams. I almost said Netherlands. Oh my god. Portugal. But who amongst the teams that are expected to do well next year, that have already qualified, by the way, uh, or not even amongst the favorites, but amongst the dark horses that could disappoint? I think Belgium could. I mean, a lot of people expect them to get back to at least the quarterfinals. Um, I'm not liking how they're really looking under Roberto Martinez. I think he is an improvement upon Mark Wilmots, who I thought was not a very good coach. But Roberto Martinez has a reputation for being a nice guy, but not a very great manager. And if Belgium, with all the expectations, all the talent they had, if they don't get to at least the quarterfinals again, it's going to be considered a disappointing run for them. And I think we could see Belgium finishing in like the round of 16, or a worst case scenario, they get put into a very difficult group and they crash out altogether because lately in World Cup history, of the 8 seeded teams, at least one or two don't advance to the round of 16. There's always that one, at least one, that don't make it. In 2014, the last World Cup in Brazil, I believe it was Spain who didn't make it. Uh, who else didn't make it? I think Spain was the only seeded team that didn't make it. But prior to that, in 2006, it was Italy. Uh, it was the host nation, South Africa. You know, um, I think England barely clinched a spot in the next round. So Belgium is one team to look out for a potential flop. Another team that might not live up to expectations, I think, is Poland. They will, as confirmed, they will be seeded for the draw in pot one. I don't agree with it, but I do think they are a really good team, really good side. If Poland don't get to at least the round of 16, that's a huge disappointment for them, considering how dominant they were for the most part in this 2018 World Cup qualifying cycle. So Poland is another potential flop. Um, you mean honestly, technically, all the top teams are potential flops, but the ones I think that are at least a little bit more likely than others are the two that I just named, as well as we could see Italy flop again. They won't be seeded for the draw, but we know Italy's reputation. Their reputation supersedes them. They are considered a powerhouse in the sport. We could see the Italian national team having yet another disappointing World Cup for the third time in a row, like a group stage elimination, or even for Italian national team standards, a round of 16 exit. As far as I'm concerned, if Italy don't get to the quarterfinals, it's a disappointment. Because you expect that from a four-time world champion. I mean, come on. You know, who else? Portugal. Um, I think Portugal will do well. To be honest, in this World Cup, they did not advance in the last World Cup, courtesy of the Germany and the U.S. men's national team, and a little bit of help from Ghana as well. So, what are other potential disappointments in Russia? The host nation. The host nation. Uh, they could become the second team in World Cup history, the second host. The second host, I mean. The second host to not advance out of the group stages after South Africa failed to do so in 2010. Um, so there you have Belgium, Poland, Italy, Russia. Uh, I have a hard time believing Brazil will crash out, so I'm not adding them to this list. Not adding Spain either. I don't. Because I'm not adding Germany either. Uh, Actually, you know what? Yeah, I am going to add Germany to this list because the last two World Cups, the defending champions have been knocked out in the first round, and in three of the last four World Cups, the defending champions have been knocked out in the first round. And for Germany, a team that has gone to the last four World Cup semifinals consecutively, I think I'll say anything less than quarterfinals for Germany would be a massive disappointment for the world champions. So there's a potential for Germany to not get back to the semifinals. They could finish in the quarters, um, or they could fall to the defending champions. Uh, Bad luck in recent years, in at least for as far as World Cups in the 2000s are concerned. You know, so Germany is a possibility. I doubt it. I really doubt it, but it's a possibility. Honestly, I'm going to add Argentina to this list too. Barely qualified. One player, the best player in the world, bailing them out. A team that is absolutely loaded in plenty of riches of talent. Almost not making it to the World Cup. Maybe they don't go far. Maybe they don't go back to the final. Maybe they go out in like round of 16 or quarters. Worst case scenario would be group stages. It's happened before. 2002. Very talented Argentinian side. World Cup group stage exit. I think it's possible with this team. But with Messi, you can't assume anything. But, we're talking about hypotheticals here, you know. Who else? I think maybe Colombia, you know. Colombia finishing in fourth in South American qualifying, but for large stretches of the campaign, they were somewhere around second and third. So Colombia went to the quarterfinals last time. If Colombia finished in the round of 16 or even a group stage exit, that's a big disappointment. And I thought I would consider that a flop, to be honest. So Uruguay as well, because Uruguay is sort of hard to predict in major tournaments. They either do really well, like in the last World Cup and the World Cup in 2010, or they do horribly, like they did in the 2016 Copa America Centenario. So, which Uruguay is going to show up? Uh, yeah, I mean that's about all I think. Um, if Mexico don't get to at least their seventh consecutive round of 16, that would be a big disappointment. Mexico always advancing to the round of 16 since 1994. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with those teams. Those are potential um, flops, potential disappointments in the World Cup. Uh, Argentina, Colombia, Uruguay from South America, Mexico from CONMEBOL, Germany, Italy, um, Belgium, Poland from Europe. Um, And another team I want to add is France, because France seems to be following this every other World Cup high and low type thing. 98 champions, 2002 group stage, '06 finals, yeah. Uh, 2010 group stage, 2014 quarterfinals. According to the pattern, they're supposed to have a bad World Cup next. And I mean, who knows? Maybe France will not go very far as expected. So that's another one. So France and all the other European teams I named, all the South American teams I just named, and from CONCACAF Mexico. Um, I'm sure the other confederations would be disappointed, like from Africa and Asia, if they don't go far, but it wouldn't be considered like a shock, like a surprise. I'm talking about flops here, you know? So leave a comment below, like, subscribe. Do you think I missed anybody? Um, I'll see you guys tomorrow, God willing. Have a good night. Much love and peace out.